Alright, so, as you guys know, it has been a long time since we have talked about it gets closer and closer to next year of 2026. And today I want to talk about something that you guys already know about but don't know a lot about. So, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys that's right. We have the Commander 4 Warhammer 40,000 Commander 4 and Commander 2 will probably be on Gates of Hell. I know you guys are probably wondering where ODST is, and I'm waiting for that to come to Call to Arms Gates of Hell as well. When that mod is on there, I will be cooking you guys up some juicy stuff. You know what the ODST mod will then release? The game will release, and then we will have everything that you guys need to have a really juicy fun time. I was going to release it on Call to Arms, but not only did I realized that I was doing something wrong, but I also realized that the mod is already, there's a Halo mod already going to be prepped for the Gates of Hell. And I'm very excited to do that one as well. So I want to talk about the place where nobody went in 1944 on the Premier Triangle through the early 2000s and futuristic of 2035. So, what took place on the Premier Triangle? Who was there? What was the names? What happened? Why was it there? And how come it was actually there? So, if you got to understand this, we have to go back to the very first beginning of the Bermuda Triangle. And to do that, we have to go all the way back to where it all began. And that, my friends, is going all the way back to the very beginning of where it all started in Commander 4's episode. There's little cutscenes. Hello and welcome, guys. If you guys, I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. Hopefully you can. Let's see if everything good here. Alright, so if you guys, hello, it's welcome back, guys, for episode 4 of General Blue Commending Missions. Sorry, guys, it has been almost a year since I got back into the actual action, and I want you guys to know that I have a brand new laptop, gaming laptop, that's going to be able to hopefully push out more and more type of videos like this as we get into it. We are now starting off with episode 4. So this also this also takes off where our friends such as Isaac Commander and his forces are led here, and then they I know you're probably thinking like, okay, what is this map, what is this Isaac Commander episode 4 have to do with the Premier Triangle? It actually has more to do with it than what you possibly imagine or what you possibly think. This actually goes back way back into the future, right? This era is actually 2029. Yeah, big year into the future. So, if that's true, then what actually happened to Isaac Commander? The real truth about this? Well, as I told you before, Isaac Commander had voice clones. He was cloned. He was actually captured by General Red and Flame, tortured for 13 years, and then threw back out of the blue, and now Isaac Commander wants payback to kill them both. It's the weirdest thing, but that's actually what's happening. So, okay, so now we know that's the story. What happened to, what about Red Final? Well, as you know, you don't play as Isaac Commander in Red Final. You don't play as Isaac Commander a little bit until certain missions. You mostly play as Unit 1. Now, Unit 1, his backstory is a little bit more different. as you guys know, if you play Private 1, that's right, you have to go back to Private 1 in Gates of Hell. Once you go back to Private 1, you'll notice that even for there, it doesn't make any sense. And that's because there's two different things going on. What if I told you Private 1 and the Bermuda Triangle is actually connected more than what you possibly imagine? How is that possible? Well, in 1944, the year 1944, again, I want to make sure, I want to just do this again, speculation of none of it's real, it's all made up, it's all fake, it doesn't exist, it's just a good story. Now I said it, let's move on. So in 1944, the year that I'm making up, there was a big Bermuda Triangle thing going on. The General Greene got word of this, ear of this, and told Sergeant Rick Jones, John, Sergeant Rick, and himself. He went on this mission as well. Now, if you go all the way back to the triangle that we're talking about, I think was it live? No, it was videos. Right here. As you can see, it says this 1944, Jones, John, and Sergeant Rick are fighting in 2045. As you can see right here, the year is actually bigger than what you possibly imagine at the Bermuda Triangle. 2345. So the year is 2,345 cents. Well, they just know the year is 2345, to be honest. But as you can see, they're fighting at the Bermuda Triangle. Now, the Bermuda Triangle has a lot of stuff going on. It's connected like a big. It's on a different planet, of course, but everything connects to the Bermuda Triangle. This is where General Blue is. This is where General Greene is. This is where John, Jones, and Sergeant Rick and General Greene is as well. It's the biggest thing that you can possibly imagine. So what's going on exactly? Well, in 1944 through the year of 2345, there was a complete dark talks. Chaos Forces. This is where Warhammer comes into play. They had met some unknown foes. Now, the reason I said unknown was it was extremely different than what they possibly have ever seen before. Yes, you can go back to this, but here's something else that you don't know. As you can see, Jones was killed in 1978 due to an undercover mission. Okay, so this one, Jones and Tom's they have these completely different timelines that doesn't make any sense. And that's because they're not supposed to make sense. That's right, they're not supposed to make sense. Why is that? That's because they're both the same person. Wait, you're probably getting the question of how is that possible? Well, the reason it's completely different and the reason the same person is because they were cloned. Now that makes sense, don't it? That's right. They were cloned together. And because they were cloned, it goes all the way back to 1944 to in 1978 due to unpermission he was killed. His clone was killed. He is still alive. They cloned him and put the real Jones, into the years there was ahead of him, making it harder to understand. Well, when they got rid of this, the interesting thing about it is that there was no more of like him anymore. There were only two clones of Jones. One called Agent Tom's 1234 Unit 7 and Jones, Agent Jones. Jones played in the Bermuda Triangle as a private. He actually dies trying to. Well, he doesn't die at first, but in 1944 he did a mission trying to kill a Russian scientist. And the reason he tried to kill a Russian scientist is because the Russian scientist tried to kill him. He was sent to kill the Russian scientist, or actually known as a metaphor as a black op. He was supposed to not kill the scientist, but he was supposed to get information from him. What you don't know about Jones is there's one mission inside of the demo of Jones, Sergeant Rick and John, that you don't know about. That's the mission where they nuked their own base. They had to. Why? Because in the Black Ops mission, it was known that there was more information that they were using live test subjects, and the General Green's base on the Bermuda Triangle, live test subjects to make a super soldier. Of course, the test subjects was known to have agonizing pain, side effects, bone tortures, just a lot of pain, very very painful processes. Why would General Green himself experiment on this and allow this operation to go on? Because the covenant of the, that's right, Warhammer 40,000 wasn't Warhammer 40,000. See, Commander Intel developed a super soldier program. The program failed miserably. This caused into infection. Well, he was a mad scientist. So he created zombies. Actual zombie soldiers. While they're on the Bermuda Triangle, there was a base there. That was one of the missions. You were supposed to kill him and kill the zombies. Once done, you'd find out that Sergeant Ricker was a Nazi. He was a German. But he was a commanding German. The German had forces and led by none other than Steiner and Denomian. Denomian was a lieutenant in the German army, which led forces that were no man can come by, and also detected and destroyed everything there ever was to be done with. This created aggregation and allergies. Well, they didn't know about it, and it killed all of them except for Steiner and Commander Intel. They were shielded from all this, done in a bunker that was below, almost like if you were going to Wolfenstein onto the castle, down there. Let's read more. So you play as Sergeant Rick right now, not Jones. Now, I do want to go ahead and say the graphics are not the best in this game. I do plan on doing a remake, a little bit of it, to make it a little better. So, hope you guys know that. Okay, so this part, nobody really understood it. I got subscribers for it, but nobody understood this part. That's because what ended up happening was a plane. Now, speculation believes that the plane, there was no passengers and it just crash landed. There's speculation that was hit by a turret and it went down that way. Speculation believes it was invisible, which means it never happened. Speculation also believes it was a black up went bad, and they had to crash the plane because of important documents.
Yes, sir.
And 3, 2, 1, here it comes. So as you go into more of the Bermuda Triangle, so who do we have? We have John, Jones, and Sergeant Rick. So the biggest question is, remember when I told you they had to nuke their own base? Well, this is what happened. This is something the story I didn't tell you guys is in the story of the Bermuda Triangle. They actually nuked their own base, completely nuked it because General Greene said I want out of here, but before he went out of here, he had to do something by cleaning up messes. General Greene is a very evil person. He killed his own men and scientists and burned all the evidence alive because he knew that once. I know this is going to sound very strange, but the Germans knew this, okay? The Germans already knew that General Greene had a base established in the Bermuda Triangle. They already knew that. They wanted intel. Well, General Greene, he pretty much after being for so long, he became a German in a way. So he would feed intel back to the actual Germans, and Germans would feed intel back to him. So in other words, they would swap utilities and utensils and everything. So the question is, why did, and that's John, by the way, that has the gun. The question is, why did General Greene order all this stuff, and why didn't he? Well, the thing is, General Greene is a bit of a backstory about General Greene. General Greene wasn't just a general when he first started out. General Greene was a soldier starting out, which is also known was actually a private. After his mom and dad died in a fire accident. The military, at a young boy, the military recruited him at a young age of 18. He grew up to be a very powerful soldier. He then became a general at the age of 26. He's very old, yes. He's like 60 or 70. But the thing is, the military told him to go into a base on a different planet that was known as a black op planet, which, as you guys know, as the Bermuda Triangle. He was there for 5,000 years. And in this time, he grew with the Germans, and the Germans grew with him. So if that's true, then where did John Jones, Sergeant Rick, come from? Well, they came from a different General Greene, another General Greene. This General Greene was a good guy. They sent in the unit to capture the old General Greene, which is also done by another clone that you'll see later on. But what was interesting about it is the clone General Greene, after coming out off the planet, died as he was being picked up and rescued. They found General Greene. They found the Bermuda Triangle General Greene on the planet and on the island itself. Okay, so what happened was after they nuked it, he was found unconscious. He couldn't remember anything. Then he died. another backstory to this of the Premier Triangle. Not only did they die, found him unconscious, as you can see, he's coming up on him right now. He was also, the Germans knew about the strike as well and wanted a little bit of payback. So they turned on the new unit after General Green informed them that the new unit was coming and told him not to worry about anything, that a new unit would come to get him. Well, when that happened, the Black Ops unit was there instead, and the Germans were there, sent in the army instead to try to stop them. Well, now the unit is going to destroy every single thing. That leads in, and I have a brand new one that is actually going to be coming in on Gates of Hell on part 2. This is the very last part of the Premier Triangle. It's very exciting. Okay, so that pretty much sums it up for the Premier Triangle on that part. What about the other part? Well, I'm about to show you. So, to understand the rest of it, you have to go all the way back to the demo of Jones. That's right, you have to go all the way back to the demo of Jones. Or John the Game. There's no music here, is there? Wrong one. John the demo. Here we go. Jones.
Strong, just waiting for the right moment to strike. Call you like a cobra. I'm in the eye of the storm. Wind howling in my face, tearing up the asphalt. I'm getting up in the place. Run, nowhere left to hide. I must take a stand now. Find the strength inside.
I'm taking fire. I'm hit. The plane is going down. Mayday.
Okay, so if we examine that voice, we can now speculate that voice was Isaac Commander. Like I said, this is where things don't make any sense. It's going to not make a lot. It will make sense once I'm done, but that voice is in fact Isaac Commander. But the question is, if that's Isaac Commander's voice in a 1944 era, then, but let's wait a minute, hold up a minute. That can't be right? Because if that's true, they would have had clones or equipment loaned to him. Okay, well, what the hell really happened? That's where things become more different. So, as you guys do know or don't know, that's not what actually happened. You see, Isaac Commander was in World War II. Isaac himself was in World War II. My version of World War II, anyways. 1944 and 1943, Isaac Commander was on a special op mission. Now, get this. At this point, Isaac Commander has to be like, what, 17, 14. Now, you have to understand, Commander Resources and Commander Intel and General Green recruited Isaac Commander at 13 years old. That's right, the first ever. And of course, it's just a story. Remember, don't get excited yet. It's just a story, make believe, not like shit, not real. It didn't really happen, but it's just a good story. That being said, I want to continue. So, and he was recruited at a very young age. In 1943, General Green sent Isaac Commander in an undercover mission to find out the spy that was spying on General Green. He was sent to a base known as Base Satchel. Base Satchel was in 1943 was created as a German base. Satchel was the code name for Boone's Air, and Boone's Air was a code name for a special op unit. And a special op unit was also known as Isaac Commander or Commando. Isaac Commando was extremely strong. The Commando unit, which is a group of 4 guys, sent in as a team to, what is that? His team. What's that? What's the word we're looking for? Team Commando. So, what actually ended up happening is in 1943, Isaac Commander's team died. What did his team consist of? A sniper, a machine gunner, a grenade launcher, and a physics engineer, which would be a medic. Speculation believes that they don't know if the team was male and female, or just female, or male and female. Nobody knows, but what people do know is Sergeant Toms turned on his team in 1942. Sergeant Toms was part of Isaac Commander's team. That's right. At 14 and 13 years old, he was sent in 1943, but in 1942, Commander Toms turned on his entire team. He was also killed by General Green. Speculation is still unknown to this day. Maybe we'll uncover more of the story as we go along. So this is a Jones trailer, of course, but so if that's true, then where's Isaac Commander in? Well, in this mission, the reason you hear Isaac Commander's voice is because he is going down, Mayday, Mayday. Why is it Mayday? Why is he going down? He doesn't just hear the voice. Yes. Oh man, I'm good. I just had sandwiches and I had some cheese.
I grabbed the wrong thing.
What is it?
The burritos.
Oh, burritos. Yeah. I can't eat it right now. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Sorry, I accidentally grabbed the wrong thing.
It's okay. If you're hungry, eat. Okay. So the reason you hear Isaac Commander's voice, the reason he says Mayday, Mayday, I'm going down, is because he actually has a ship that went down. That was destroyed, taken down, and now you're hearing echoes of the Premier Triangle. You can hear echoes in the Premier Triangle of Isaac Commander's voice just one time. But what if I told you that Isaac Commander played a more important part than what you could possibly imagine? That's right. In 1945, in the Premier Triangle. That's when Jones, John, and Sergeant Rick and General Green went to the Premier Triangle. At least that's what you want to believe, right? Well, that would be wrong. So, knowing General Green is already on there, the bad General Green is already there. And again, the real General Green has been sent Jones in with Sergeant Rick, and John. Well, as you go throughout the more of the story, you'll hear Isaac Commander's voice even more in some dialogue. You also hear voices of the echoes saying, "Help me, help me, I need help, please let me out." You'll know the voices of what you hear inside of this game. It'll sound extremely different and very Struminant. This is all in part 2, of course, but it's going to be very interesting to see where this is going to lie. Let's continue.
Nothing's gonna damn my soul apart. In the eye of the storm inside, I am silent and strong, just waiting for the right moment to strike. Cold like a cold rock coming to life. In the eye of the storm inside, I am silent and strong, just waiting for the moment. Never see me coming.
So as you know, this is far into the mission of Jones. But what I can tell you is there's a lot more than what you would imagine. A lot more. And what's really going on is Jones meets a mysterious figure. Now, this is not in the mission of part 1. This is going to be the mission of part 2. But part 2 pretty much picks up where part 1 left off. In a way. In the end, it'll make sense. But in part 2, it's going to tell you some echoes and voices that have not been heard, that people have reportedly heard of Ghost. And what's going on is, in these echoes, what people are hearing is voices of a voice that they've never heard before. Like, "Sky, help me." And all this stuff transpires into something completely different. And you'll hear these voices and echoes, and it'll say, "Follow the voice." Well, if you follow the voice in Gates of Hell, what ends up leading you is in Red 1 or Red Final. When you follow the voice, it says there's nothing here. Follow the voice means follow the footsteps, and follow the footsteps means follow the command, and follow the command means follow the word. Once you follow the word, you'll follow the footsteps, which means you follow the voice, which means you follow the command. But in one of the missions in Gates of Hell in Red Final, you'll see that there's nothing there at all. This is because, the reason this is because everything that actually happens or ends up happening is extremely different. This plays out completely different in a lot of different aspects. This will play out different in a lot more aspects. It really just depends on how far you're willing to go to see where the story combines itself. Building the story is extremely something different, but knowing the story, well, that's another thing. But again, Jones is actually with another sergeant, as you can see here.
Never gonna tear my soul apart.
you're probably wondering, where in the world, if General Green is on this base and he's on the Premier Triangle, then where is the other guys? Where's the bases? Where's the other tanks? Where's the helpers? Well, that's because he's on the other side of the Premier Triangle, trying to get to General Green. Okay, so if he's trying to get to General Green, then that means he crash landed and started hearing echoes and voices and seeing different shadow figures that led him into what? Something completely different, maybe? I guess? Right? Wrong. No. So, the way what's going on is he's led on the Premier Triangle for two different reasons. He was actually purposely a brand new energy gun from the Germans shot down, which is called microseconds, shot down his plane and caused it to go off direction, off shot, which also means off of tag. So going off a tag or off the direction or off course means he went somewhere else. So his main mission was to drop. Originally, the plane was scheduled to arrive at General Green's base in 1,000 hours. That didn't happen. The Germans shot the plane off course on purpose. That's right. The plane was shot off course on purpose because the plane carried important documents that led all the way back to 1941. Okay, now you're probably like, okay, what's again? Everything will be explained in Gates of Hell in 1941. So in 1941, the plane was carrying. 1944, the plane was carrying important documents. General Green told the Germans to shoot him off course on purpose. Why would he do that? Because he didn't want any tides, any leads, or again tides, leading back to him, knowing that he could get in trouble if he was caught on that plane or caught on the leads. So when the gun fire blasted the plane off course, it almost killed Jones. And the reason Jones didn't die is because he's a clone. Not the first clone, but the second clone. Well, as you know, that's Jones, but that's not the real Jones. He's a clone of Jones. That's right, he's a clone of Jones. The real Jones is back at base with the real good General Green. Frozen. Weird, I know. So Jones got sent here on the mission, and then the under 19, I think it was 19 something. What is it back here? Is it 19? I almost forgot again.
Moment to strike, grow you like a cobra.
Okay. Well, I think it was 19 something. He was killed on undercover mission. That's all I know for right now. I forgot the date. But right here is now you can see this is again almost like this is the very end of the mission almost, and this takes place where this is where you find John, and as you'll see here it says John. It says Jones. I need you to take out those bad guys. Get to it. So what he's referencing to is he's telling Jones to kill the bad guys. Well, guess what's also here? Guess what? Remember I told you about the gun that took out the plane? Check this out. There it is. That's the gun. That's right. That's the gun that took out that plane. That's all. But that's not the gun that Isaac Commander said, "Mayday, mayday, I'm going down." That's not the gun at all. That's actually a different. It's the same gun, yes, but it has a different type of firing power, which also means a different type of bullet that shot down Isaac Commander's ship. Now, you're probably asking the question, what do you mean by ship? Well, if you go all the way back to Commander 4, you'll see a ship. The same ship in that Commander 4 is the same ship that got shot down by one of the artillery guns. But a different power artillery gun with different ammo, more powerful ammo. Okay, so well, that's a good question, right? Well, if that's true, then why did Isaac Commander get shot down in the first place? Did he also try to go to General Green's base? Was he also on the planet? No. Isaac Commander was on the planet in 1944 for a reason. He was trying to he was trying to find his best friend, Jones, the real Jones. Well, see, what the good General Green didn't tell Isaac Commander is Jones was already back at base in the real base, the good base, frozen already. Well, General Green wanted Isaac Commander at 14 because apparently Isaac Commander at 13 years old was not supposed to make it in his first mission. He was supposed to die. Well, General Green got word of this and was like, okay, I'm just going to send him on another mission to see if he's going to die or not. Well, it proved because there was no faith and no leadership because General Green did not want to recruit somebody as young as Isaac Commander at 13, but was forced to by a unknown source. This is it's called Black Source, a name that's unknown. So General Green, knowing this, recruited him anyway, and then after that, he was sent on missions. But although completing these missions at such a young age, and again, Isaac Commander was extremely tall, and he didn't look 14 or 13. He was completing missions back to back like nothing. This created doubt and fiction. Well, Isaac Commander taking a hit and finally going down with his ship survived echoes in the Premier Triangle, which led this. But this is where Isaac Commander was also, again, I'm going to tell you more about this in the coming of part 2 of this as well, which is very, very cool and very, very nice. This is where you'll know more about Isaac Commander than what anybody else has.
Strong, just waiting for the right moment to strike. Like a cobra coming to life. I'm the eye of the storm inside. I'm excited and strong, just waiting for the moment. Never see me coming. I am waiting for the moment. Never see me coming. I'm just waiting for. I'm the eye of the storm inside. I'm excited.
Alright, so Jones was killed in 1978 due to an undercover mission. So it says they're all played by Isaac. Who is Isaac? Well, Isaac is a different type of story. Isaac is the same person as Isaac Commander, if you guys did not know that. So, if that's true, then what happened before that? This is where I told you we have to go all the way back to the other parts of the episodes. If I have to go to my live streams to figure out, to find the rest. There we go. So there, time to do some stuff that doesn't really make a lot of sense. So the name of this is called Jones Remake, except the part is it's not remade. It's not a remake at all. It's actually a different type of part of Jones. It's where it's the missions that you didn't get to play before. It's the missions that were forgotten and didn't get to make it into Jones. That's what this is. But he's also on the Premier Triangle as well. So,
Yes, sir.
as you can see, Jones is there, but he's not there. This is all
Okay,
taking
sir.
place inside of Jones's head before he wakes up. Because you can see that there is a completely brand new, different plane right here. When I told you about voices and echoes, well, this is one of them.
Schnell! Wir müssen weiter!
Already on it, sir. Greetings from Uncle Sam. Oh, I'm bleeding. Oh, fuck. Medic, over here! Keep it moving! Damn you bastards! He's down for the count!
As you guys can see, he is on the Premier Triangle. This entire game is all in his head, though. He wakes up in part 2, which is something I'm going to be making for you guys.
Ooh. Come on, don't leave me.
Was wurde nicht ausgebildet? Deckung! Over here! Medic! Das ist ein Befehl! Da kommt es her! Wir müssen das halten! Hey! Give that man a cigar!
As you can see, there's flames, fire.
Feindliches Flugzeug! Feindliches Flugzeug gesichtet!
Hustle up! Of course, sir. Oof.
So there's some more stuff that has to do with the Premier Triangle. To understand that, we have to go deeper. A lot deeper. And that would take me to right here.
Future, we all start losers. We're all late bloomers, gotta struggle through the sewer.
What you say? Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is 11:15 p.m. here. I have some big news to tell you guys. Today, well, tonight. It's tonight now. It's almost morning. Let me get someone drink here and we'll get started. So, speculation believed that you're on the Premier Triangle. Here we go. 34,000 years ago. Oh, Isaac Commander was MIA. Missing in action. There's the ship I was telling you guys about. Right there. There's the agent I was telling you guys about. There's that's Agent Michael. Now this part is a little bit strange because I was only trying to do my job. So if you read it says I was only trying to do my job. It's supposed to be Isaac Commander. So I don't. This is actually brand new to the lore, but this is a girl writing She's a girl. She's been hit. She's dying out. So, all right. So there was a lot of speculation that Isaac Commander was on Premier Triangle, which he was. Okay. So there is also speculation that the John and Agent Michael is also on the Premier Triangle. Unfortunately, they're not. They're not on the Premier Triangle. But if you read more here, so the person that's writing this is a mystery, as you can see, Forever Kara. So as you can see here, what's going on is everything that's going on is completely different. This is you do find her in this game, but not until next year. You'll find her in the game next year. And what's going on? I'll be right back, guys. Alright, so. Sorry, I took a small break here. Going on is there's a lot of stuff happening right now. I mean, a lot of stuff. She's been shot, killed, been hit, and been bit. EMP. It spells help.